Have you ever noticed how two people can seem to do everything the same, lose the same amount of weight, eat similar foods, and yet one of them just seems sharper? Their memory improves. They solve problems more easily. They seem more mentally on. That question caught my attention because it challenges one of the biggest assumptions we make about health. Most people believe that if you lose weight, your brain automatically benefits. But new research suggests the story may be more interesting than that. Researchers at Rutgers University presented a pilot study at Nutrition 2026, the annual meeting of the American Society of Nutrition, asking a simple but fascinating question. Does when you eat matter just as much as how much you eat? The researchers enrolled 47 women between the ages of 50 and 79 who were living with overweight or obesity. Everyone followed a calorie-restricted eating plan designed to produce weight loss. But here's where things became interesting. One group spread their meals over roughly 12 hours each day. The other group ate during an average window of about 8 hours, generally finishing dinner several hours before bedtime. Now, if you're expecting me to tell you that the fasting group lost dramatically more weight, they didn't. Both groups lost almost exactly the same amount, about 15 pounds over 6 months. So if the scale wasn't dramatically different, what was? The women who used the shorter eating window performed better on several tests of planning, problem solving, and certain aspects of memory. That should make every one of us pause, because this may not be a story about losing more weight. It may be a story about giving the brain a better schedule. Now, before headlines start claiming we've discovered the secret to preventing Alzheimer's, let's pause and think about what type of study this was. This was a small pilot study presented at a scientific meeting. It has not yet been peer-reviewed, and it certainly doesn't prove that fasting prevents dementia. But good science often starts with an interesting observation. And this observation raises a fascinating question. If two groups lost essentially the same amount of weight, why did only one group appear to think a little better? The answer may have less to do with eating less, and much more to do with eating in harmony with the body's internal clock. And once you understand that clock, you'll never look at meal timing quite the same way again. So what could possibly explain this? How could two groups lose virtually the same amount of weight, yet one group perform better on certain cognitive tests? The researchers weren't able to answer that question directly because they didn't measure the underlying biological mechanisms. But when you step back and look at what decades of metabolic research have taught us, several possibilities begin to emerge. Let's start with one that often gets overlooked. Your body keeps time. Most of us think of our watches and phones as keeping time, but every major organ in the body has its own internal clock, synchronized by light, sleep, physical activity, and yes, even meal timing. Your brain, liver, muscles, pancreas, and even your fat cells are constantly communicating, asking one simple question: what time is it? And what should I be doing right now? During the day, your body is generally better prepared to process food. Insulin sensitivity tends to be higher. Glucose is handled more efficiently, and your metabolism is primed to use incoming nutrients. Late at night, however, those same systems begin shifting toward rest, repair, and recovery. Think of it this way. Imagine a hospital. During the day, patients are arriving, surgeries are scheduled, meals are delivered, and the staff is moving at full speed. But overnight, a different crew comes in. The floors are cleaned, equipment is serviced, supplies are restocked. Maintenance gets done because there are fewer interruptions. Now imagine ambulances suddenly bringing in a wave of new patients at 2 o'clock in the morning. The hospital can handle it, but the overnight maintenance crew doesn't get to finish its work. Your body may work in a remarkably similar way. When we continue eating late in the evening, we may be asking our metabolism to keep processing incoming nutrients during a time when many cellular systems are preparing for overnight maintenance. Another important piece of the puzzle is insulin. Many people think insulin's only job is controlling blood sugar. Not true. Insulin also plays an important role in the brain, influencing learning, memory, and communication between cells. When insulin resistance develops, brain cells may not respond to insulin as effectively. Researchers have even explored this idea as one reason Alzheimer's disease is sometimes informally referred to as type 3 diabetes. That nickname isn't an official diagnosis, but it reflects growing interest in the relationship between metabolic health and cognitive decline. So perhaps the real story isn't simply that fasting helps the brain. Perhaps it's that better metabolic timing creates a healthier environment for the brain to do what it was designed to do. And that brings us to another fascinating piece of the puzzle. One that gets talked about a lot on social media but deserves much more careful explanation. And that puzzle piece is autophagy. If you've watched videos about fasting, you've probably heard someone say, once you fast long enough, your body flips on autophagy. That's a fascinating idea, but we need to be careful. Autophagy is your body's natural cellular recycling system. Think of it as a housekeeping crew that helps identify damaged cellular components, breaks them down, and allows many of those building blocks to be reused. The science supporting autophagy is strong in laboratory and animal research. But here's what this Rutgers study didn't measure. It didn't measure autophagy. It didn't measure ketone levels. It didn't measure inflammation. It didn't measure sleep quality. It simply observed that one group, eating within a shorter daytime window, performed better on certain cognitive tests, despite losing about the same amount of weight. That's an important distinction. As physicians and scientists, we don't jump from interesting observation to an absolute conclusion. We let one good study generate the next question. And that's exactly what this study does. So, what should you take away from all of this? First, this is not evidence that everyone should immediately adopt an 8-hour eating window. If you're taking insulin or medications like sulfonylureas, and pregnant or breastfeeding, have a history of an eating disorder, or have other complex medical conditions, meal timing should be individualized with your healthcare team. Second, remember that fasting is only one piece of the puzzle. If you're fasting but sleeping 4 hours at night, chronically stressed, sedentary, or not eating enough protein to maintain muscle, you're missing other critical pieces of healthy aging. I often remind my patients that longevity isn't about doing one thing perfectly. It's about getting many small things consistently right. And finally, here's the biggest lesson I took from this research. For years, we focused almost entirely on what we eat. Calories, carbohydrates, protein, fat. Those things matter. But this study reminds us that when we eat may also deserve a seat at the table. Your metabolism isn't just responding to food, it's responding to time. And if future research confirms what this early study is beginning to suggest, one of the simplest ways to support a healthier brain may not involve a new medication or an expensive supplement. It may begin with something as simple as giving your body a more predictable rhythm. Because your brain doesn't just need nutrition, it may also need good timing. And if you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel, because my goal isn't just to help you live longer. It's to help you stay healthy enough to enjoy those extra years with the people you love. I'll see you in the next video.